Hello fellow fish nerds and happy 16th day of the February fish vlogs, and today I'm bringing you an update video on the mystery strain of guppies that I revealed to you last week. Check out that video right here. Also, I'm putting the video footage right here behind me if you just want to watch that and try to guess. So I'm showing you in this video the 1 week update on how much they've grown with my methods. Are not anything new or advanced methods of growing guppy fry fast. All I'm doing is feeding them small meals at least 2 hours apart, every 2 hours if possible. I learned that from a professional fish breeder, Michael, I forget his last name, but he has won the red class of guppies in the IFGA, I think, for the past 8 or 9 years. And he taught our local fish club a very interesting fact that a guppy's stomach is basically 2 hours. So, which means every 2 hours they're technically ready to eat. So I keep the meals really small when I'm home on the weekends and they're being fed a lot. Because of that increased feeding, I am doing more frequent water changes, about 25-30%, somewhere around there. I'm not measuring, it's just, yeah, that looks about right. It goes into a 5-gallon bucket. It doesn't fully fill up the 5-gallon bucket, so I figure it's about 2.5 gallons or so. And I do that a few times a week, whenever I can find the time, at nighttime, whenever I can find the time. So it's not on a set routine. It's usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then on the weekends, and then usually one more other time during the week. So and I turn the heat up a little bit to 78, and to try to increase their metabolism so they'll want to eat more. So that's the one thing that you'll be noticing hopefully in this video. The other thing I want you to notice is a new fish. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you. I'm not gonna hold back or anything. You're gonna be able to figure out what it is as soon as you see it. I'm looking at them right now. I thought one was hanging out of a floating sponge filter. It looked kind of funny, but it's hanging it off the suction cup. So anyways, you're gonna notice the new fish in the tank. They're also in the video from last week as well, but they were in the background of the frame and they're out of focus, so you probably didn't notice them or see them very much or very easily, or really even thought to look at them, because I was, while this hand was moving, this hand was, taking whatever kind of thing, the whole distraction technique that magicians do. So stay tuned for that right after the intro, and then I'm going to tell you what my plans are. Maybe that might be what we try to guess here, but I'm pretty excited about it. I'm super geeking out about these fish and what I can do with them as far as an experiment goes. So stay tuned. I'll see you on the other side.
It's Mr. Science Geek. I hope my tanks don't leak. If it's information that you seek, be sure to tune in each week. And my videos take a peek. My singing and my jokes really read.
All right, so I know that the most obvious fish that are blatantly, obviously sticking out are fish that I have not yet made a video about, but I'll talk about those later. First, I want to talk about the mystery strain of guppies in this tank. I think that they have grown noticeably over the past week. It's been a week since I recorded the video that you saw before my intro. So if you want to compare the growth in a week, just rewind the video back and look at before and after, just a week's difference. And please be sure to comment below with which strain you think they are. I do find that fun and interesting to see what people think and see if anyone can figure it out yet. So on to the new fish, the 500-pound gorilla in the room, or in this case, the albino bristlenose plecos. Now there are two types in here. There are the regular fin albino bristlenose plecos, which I got at an earlier fish club auction, and then the long fin bristlenose plecos, longfin albino bristlenose plecos. I'm moving the sponge filter there. I have a lot of sponge filters in here to seed them with beneficial bacteria because I figure what better tank to seed and fill with bacteria than a bristlenose pleco tank, because anyone who owns them knows that they sure poop a lot and therefore will build up a large amount of beneficial bacteria. I am tilting the camera up so you can see the guppies feeding, the more active, moving around, maybe get a better view of them and make a better guess for which strain they are. Anyways, back to the bristlenose plecos. So I got the albino bristlenose plecos at an earlier fish club auction, and then the well, they were called super long fin albino bristlenose plecos. Got those at a more recent fish club auction. There's a better shot of I think those are both the regular albino long fins on some driftwood I found at the river actually. So you also notice I have a bare bottom tank. I am in the process of getting it cleaned up through my multiple water changes, which getting it caught up and keeping it clean with bristlenose plecos is a challenge. You'll see on the left side, actually it's in the reflection of the sponge filter, is a long fin pleco, but and I know people are gonna probably make fun of how I'm saying pleco or pleco, but I think I use both interchangeably, but usually I go with pleco. Um, so anyways, the super long fin albino bristlenose plecos, I am not planning to just breed them to get more long fin albino bristlenose plecos. Um, I am I am planning on that. Actually, I was talking to a guy at the local fish club, and when I told him my plans, he was like, "No, don't do that. We want to get more of them." I was like, "Don't worry." I was like, "Once you breed a pleco with another one, it doesn't mean that it's not like they're monogamously bonded for life." I mean, so yes, I do plan on hopefully getting a pair out of these longfin albinos and breeding them and getting more um, longfin albinos, and then maybe breeding them with a regular fin albino and seeing what happens there. But my super secret plan that I'm really excited about, really geeking out about, is one that the reason why I got these long fin albinos. It's not just because they're long fin albinos and I wanted to have long fin albinos, but because I want to have long fin super reds. So I saw the long fin super reds, saw people have them, and a fellow member of the fish club had one for sale, but I asked him about it and he was kind of questioning if he wanted to sell it or not, and the price was going to be high. He never told me a price, but the price was going to be high. And he wasn't really sure he wanted to get rid of them because he thought he might just wait until the males grow up and then can breed with the female. I was like, fine. So I was doing some research on Google and I was trying to find out, well, how can I get super red longfin bristlenose plecos? And I did some research, and I'm telling you at the very end of the video for those that actually stayed for the end are getting the benefit and the reward of finding this out. My long-term, long-range plan. So what my plan is, in my research I found, is that if you breed an albino long-fin bristlenose pleco with a super red pleco, then the first generation, the F1 generation, will be uh, honestly a wild mix. It will look more like the wild strain of bristlenose plecos. Um, it will be brown. It will have some dots on it. It will look like the wild variation. Then, from what in my research I found, and I fact checked and checked my sources and double checked. If you breed that F1 generation back to a super red, whether it be the parents or another super red, obviously I'm going to try to breed it back to another super red pleco. Then that technically kind of, let's say F1 and a half, F2 generation, I guess you would say, F2 generation is you're going to have a mix where there will be some wild looking ones still. There will be some, um, I think there will be some albinos, there will be some super reds, regular fin, and there is a possibility that there will be a small portion of that generation that will be long finned super red bristlenose plecos, and that's what I'm going for. So that's the end goal. And I was watching a video by Jeff Rose Fishkeeper, and I think he's doing the same thing, which is really cool. I'm kind of excited to see if we can both do it, because I'm pretty sure he's following the same recipe. And the exciting part about it is that it's an example of Gregor Mendel's pea plant experiments and how he discovered dominant and recessive traits. In the first generation, he discovered what a dominant trait was. In the second generation, he discovered that the recessive trait came back. And that's what I'm going to do in this experiment, hopefully. When I talked to a fellow Fish Club member, and he said, it's going to take me 2 to 3 years. And I said, well, I'm not in a rush. I'm just really going to enjoy. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy the breeding process, anyways, of breeding Bristlenose plecos? Now, I had to kind of wheel and deal and bargain to be able to win these albino longfins in the auction. This one lady, very, very nice lady in the local fish club, I told her, I was like, hey, I'll make you a deal. Um, I I would deal, I was like, I'm going to have a bunch of these wild types in the first generation. Do you want one of those? And she said, sure. So I'll give her that. She just loves fish. She thinks they are the cutest thing. She is the nicest lady, one of the nicest ladies I've ever met. She just loves fish. She thinks they're so cute and cuddly and stuff. So I told her that I will give her some of the offspring from the first breeding and possibly even the second breeding. And she isn't in it for the science research and the experiments with the breeding process, but I am. So I made that deal to her. I'm going to stick with it. And then I also promised the other guy that I will breed some albino longfins with some albino longfins, and I'll give him some of those offspring. So I'm going to stick to my word. So hope you found this video entertaining and informational, at least with the Gregor Mendel pea plant experiment analogy and comparison. Please be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, share on social media. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you thought it was boring, monotone, whatever. I don't. That's fine. Give me a comment below with what strain of guppies you think are in this tank. I'm really excited to see your results. So until next time, which will be tomorrow in my February fish vlogs, stay tuned and stay fishy, people.